Right, again, time to reflect as I do as I go around. Take 5 and think about things. Last night, the classic situation happened. A couple of good guys there around the table, having a yarn, having a few whiskies. And some of them had a few more than a few. Anyway, one guy there's a doctor, heck of a nice guy. But anyway, his attitude was, you should be able to hunt for free. You should be able to hunt when you want for free. And that's a very noble position to hold, right? And I believe, yes, you should be able to hunt. And he said, well, if you can't hunt up here in Queensland, if you can't hunt, for free, you just poach state forests and national parks. His words, just poach. Here's a doctor, a learned man, quite a rich man. They showed me firearms there before that are worth $10,000 or $12,000 each. But they don't want to pay 1 cent to a landowner. And I try and explain that this is Queensland. I didn't invent this state. I didn't found it. I've come along in the last 60 years, right? This was put together by our forefathers. States like Victoria and Tasmania set aside state forest country and national park for hunters. And they've got great programs. Will you shut up? Cow, you just deciding it's just going to talk over the top of me. Shut up! They've got great programs. They're great programs. Ridiculous. Shut up! As I was saying, they've got great programs down there on the Samba deer. But a lot of that country, if you have a look at it, their state forest and national park down there, you're flat out feeding a cow on most of it. Some of the top country, the high country, yeah, beautiful in some times of the year. But the majority of it that I've hunted anyway for Samba, it's not much good for much else. So it was basically fenced out by the early settlers. Same up here. Our state forests and national parks are the areas where the landowners, they took the good stuff, freeholded the good stuff, then they took more as they were able to and freeholded that. Then there was a lease agreement arrangement with government to be able to lease a lot of the other country that was marginal. And then the stuff that really was too many ticks, too many wallabies, too many trees, not enough water, all the things about it that was not viable, they fenced that out. And that's basically our national parks. We see it's beautiful because it's got all this lovely timber and all the rest of it. But most of it is not a viable proposition to try and run stock on, because most of the time you can't get them out of there without a chopper anyway. It's too steep, too rough, too hard. Too many people getting killed trying to get them out. The majority of our game animals that we see as game animals here live on the freehold country or leasehold country of landowners. That is a fact. Dogs whistling up. We didn't set aside a system properly here. Now this year is our 150th year anniversary of red deer being brought here into Queensland. Okay, 1873 till about 1973, 1873 to 1973, 100 years basically passed before the government decided to put in place the first hunting season for deer. And then it wasn't done under a game license, it wasn't done under a proper management system. It was actually a crop damage, a crop mitigation permit, where a damage mitigation permit where landowners had to sign off that they were experiencing damage on their crops or pastures, and you got your permits to help alleviate that effect that the deer were having on those landowners' properties. And really, what a load of BS. It was for hunting. That's what it was. We got permits for hunting. Okay, that was in place, if I recall right, for 16 years. And a lot of hunters, especially younger hunters or people who've come in from overseas, do not have a bloody clue that we did have a hunting season for 16 years. Now, whether it be right or wrong or all the rest of it, it was there. It was in place. With the under the Nature Conservation Act, with National Parks and Wildlife sort of doing the policing. Now, righto, some of the National Parks and Wildlife officers I know were some of the biggest poachers you ever seen, right? But hunters would not support it. I think the average was 17 tags a year across that period of 14, 16 years, whatever it was. My memory is a bit foggy. 17 tags a year on average were sold. And that was to every hunter across Australia that would come here to hunt a red deer, a chiddle, or a fallow during the season, or a Moluccan rooster. Basically, nobody bought bloody tags. So here we are, we blame the government all the time. Blame the government, blame the government. Guys, the problem is us. The problem is you, right? We didn't support it. As a hunting guide during that time, I think my record was 13 tags that we bought for our hunters for a season. So I would stand on my digs and say, righto, we did try. We bought a lot of tags for our business. I was trapping deer at that time, and I was paying a royalty of $75 a head back to the government. We were paying our royalty until we realised that nobody else was. None of the other deer farmers were paying royalty, so we just forgot to do it ourselves. Nobody stuck with the system. So then we blame government for them taking that system away. For the first 100 years, though, that those deer were here in the bush, there was no management system. That was the time the government and the people should have pushed for a sensible season and management plan to be put in place. Get it ready, have it established, have it enshrined in law as part of our, what we do, part of our culture, and it would have been still there. So now we've got people that come in from other countries and can sit with me there last night. So if I can't get hunting for free for myself and my lads, well then we'll just poach state forest and national park. And they think that they're doing something to help the problem. All they're doing is making it one more nail in our coffin, okay? Because once landowners get to the point where they say, we're not doing this anymore, then the choppers will fly, the baits will go out, whatever else, and we'll end up with none. As I say, don't shoot the messenger. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm just trying to tell you that this is reality here in Queensland, Australia. We've got to pay our way, people. We've got to make these things worth something to stay here, and if they're not, they will go. As I say, every time, the best way a landowner can make money out of wild deer at the moment is to kill them all and run more cattle. I don't want to see that happen. It's up to you, and it's up to me.